Aldrin J in the chatty house at youtube.com/ESPN1320. Aldrin J said he wants the 49ers to trade Brandon Aiyuk because he hates the offseason drama. If
that's dumb.
I don't want to call it dumb.
Well, not dumb. Like, you don't trade Brandon Aiyuk because of drama.
Yeah, if that's what you want as a fan, sure. But then that should have been the take since the offseason started.
That don't make sense to me.
The longer this goes on, the more I think they're gonna resign him.
Yeah, I think they'll. Yeah.
The trade request is so funny. It changes nothing.
Didn't Debo request a trade at one point?
Yeah, Debo requested a trade before the draft.
The 49ers literally do this every year with whoever they're trying to give an extension. It always leaks in a training camp, and then they sign them, and then they're there.
This is where me and Aldrin J are simpatico. Mm-hmm. This sucks. As a person who has to create content about the team, it's great. I write something about Brandon Aiyuk every day. It's easy.
Yeah.
But as a person who would like to see the team do well, it's annoying. It's like, bro, every other receiver's been signed except CD. You're not waiting on the CD contract to sign Brandon Aiyuk. Just do it. And Nick Wagner, who was on the show yesterday, talked about how some of the timing is because when you guarantee money, it goes into this escrow account. It's this whole thing. So maybe that's part of it. But at the same time, is a Brandon Aiyuk contract being done now versus in 2 weeks? What does that change?
Nothing.
Just literally go do it now. What are we? Deadlines
I'm not sure
for
what
action.
He's doing.
So because I think the Niners' whole thing is like, well, once he has to start missing training camp practices, he starts getting fined, and that's what's going to bring him to the table and lower his offer. So you're going to do all of this over a couple $1 million? That's what it is. That's what's happening here. It's just silly.
It's part of the game.
I asked the NFL Wire Network editors. So if you don't, I write for NinersWire.com. I'm the managing editor at that site. And Niners Wire is part of a network of sites under USA Today's sports media group. So it's all the teams have a wire.com. And then there's like Touchdown Wire, which is the whole NFL. There's Draft Wire. It's a thing. Okay. So I hit up all of our editors, all our site editors, and I said, hey, if your team might be interested in Brandon Aiyuk, send me a trade proposal. And my whole thing on this is if the Niners are going to trade Brandon Aiyuk, they're going to get a piece back that helps them this year. And all the offers I got, the best offer I got was 2 second-round picks in 25 and 26. So the Broncos editors said Cortland Sutton and a pick for Brandon Aiyuk and a pick, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might have been Cortland Sutton and a third for Brandon Aiyuk straight across, whatever it was. But it was a player who was included. Everything else is like day 2 draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, okay, this is not obviously these site editors are just kind of spitballing, but it's like, if that's what the offers are, I'll take the drama.
Yeah.
It's so much better than, can you imagine if they traded him for a 2nd-round pick next year?
Well, yeah, that's not going to work. And also you want to work it out with Brandon Aiyuk. He's the number 1 receiver. He's really good. Also, I don't know if people know that. It's not just a matter of, oh yeah, let's trade him. I don't buy into the whole, he's easily replaceable or whatever. I think he's a number 1 receiver. He's really good.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Work it out. Whether it's him or whoever, no, I'm not trading him.
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah.
I think the Niners think he's not the number 1 guy. I've had people say to me that he's not the number 1 receiver. Debo had more total yards and more touchdowns. All right. But Aiyuk over the next 5 years is the number 1 receiver.
Exactly.
Scooter916 in the chat brings up a great point. And this is the piece of this that is, I think, most important to me. Said Bosa and Debo did not play well after the holdouts. I expect the same from Aiyuk this season, and they can't afford to keep having this happen. That's it. That right there is it. If you've seen this impact your players, your best players. You've seen this have a negative impact on them. And I know you can go to Bosa's pressure numbers and they were just as good. And okay, the sacks weren't there, but that stat's going to fluctuate and all that. Okay. But there is zero denying that for the first, 6 weeks, Nick Bosa was not the same dude.
Yeah, no.
And that's because he didn't have an offseason. He was working out. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I think Nick Bosa probably exercises, but it's not it's different working out at home and hitting a sled at home versus being in practice and working out going against Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Like
not, yeah, it's like you can work out, but it's not the same.
Yeah. So he basically had to get an entire offseason in during the season, and he's ramping himself up during the season. That sucks. Deebo Samuel came in out of shape and just was not the same player in 2022. This happens. And now they have this Brandon Aiyuk situation where he has been very open about like, yeah, this is bothering me. This sucks. And okay, yeah, maybe he's out at a park wherever in Arizona or LA or the Bay Area, and he's getting routes in. Maybe he's been at the Niners team facility working out, but he's not been at OTAs. It wasn't a mandatory minicamp. I don't think he's going to be at training camp, or at least the start of it.
And that's kind of like,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, like if I'm the 49ers, that's an issue if you end up caving and giving him the $30 million, because it's like, all right, if you're going to do that, you should have did it, like you said, 2 weeks ago or whatever. That way he'd be ready for training camp. But it's if you're sticking to your number, I get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is
it's more of an Aiyuk problem, I guess, at this point.
We all know, and I think the 49ers, it was the same thing with Bosa. And I'm not in these negotiations, so maybe there was like minutia of contract language that was being ironed out and hammered out, and there was a real sticking point in the like an injury guarantee or something like that. I don't know. But everybody knew Nick Bosa was going to get the highest non-quarterback contract ever.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. Give it to him. Everybody knows that Brandon Aiyuk is going to be in the $28 million range. Maybe he's at 30 right now. Maybe the Niners are at 26. We all know that this is going to land somewhere in the 28 range. Just get there. Get that. Just do it.
You figure it'd be that easy.
And maybe it's not. Maybe John Lynch would get on this radio program and be like, you're an idiot, and here's why. Here's the 10 reasons why. 1, you would eat the taco thing at the Royals.
Cut the list.
That's
right
number
there.
1. This is all 10 reasons. Yeah, dude. I get a 49er fan who's frustrated for sure, because it's annoying.
But you don't trade him because of the drama.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's just kind of baked in. But at the same time, you're looking at this going, okay, and you just lost the Super Bowl. So going back is nigh impossible. One team this century has done it. So that's odds are stacked against you that you're even going to make a run.
Yeah.
So now everything's got to be perfect. No margin for error. Scooter 916 brings up the poor performances, particularly with Nick Bosa to start the year, and then Deebo Samuel all season after their holdouts. Okay, so now let's scale back Brandon Aiyuk's projection a little bit, assuming he sticks around. Okay, let's see. And at the same time, all right, let's look around the NFC. Okay, well, just in the division, Seahawks got a new coach. The Rams are going to be good. I think the Rams are going to be really good. You have the Cardinals with their quarterback back intact, and they're another year into their rebuild. Okay, division's going to be pretty dang good. And then you look across and you go, man, Green Bay kicked the crap out of the Cowboys and then gave us hell at Levi Stadium. Okay, so all right, we got to worry about that. Oh, and then the Lions gave us hell at Levi Stadium, and we're a couple of drop passes away from winning the NFC title game. Oh, and at the so they're coming. Oh, and all at the same time, they extended all before Brandon Aiyuk got done, their left tackle, their top wide receiver, and Jared Goff. All those guys got deals.
Yep.
And here are the Niners with no margin for error going, call us on July 25th. Yeah, that's when we'll do. Like, dude, where's the urgency?
Yeah, it's because we don't know the negotiations, but I don't like the fact that it's always just going into training camp or whatever. It's always taking so long.
It got reported on NFL media that they haven't even negotiated since May.
See, that's no good. Like, what do we?
That's crazy. You haven't been willing to talk?
Yeah, at that point, what are we doing here then?
Get on the phone.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What are we doing? So I understand. So Aldrin J, I understand your frustration. The 49ers should not be trading Aiyuk because of the drama. Yeah. I wrote about this at Niners Wire. Like, this was always going to happen. The trade request just came at the point where everything was kind of like at a head. Where, dang, we're really up against it. And oh my God, now he's requesting a trade. He's been posting stuff about Jaden Daniels, and he's got the Washington practice video. And oh my gosh, there's so much drama. And it's like, yeah, it's all kind of happened in the last month and a half. But the bigger worry would be if he had requested a trade right before the draft. That's the larger concern.
I'm kind of stuck on that whole they haven't negotiated since May thing. I don't get that at
I don't
all.
either.
And I'm kind of like with Ayuk in the sense if we're not going to negotiate, then yeah, let me get a trade then, I guess.
Right. And I think that's why he requested the trade. Is like, I've done everything I can on social media. I've unfollowed. I've posted this video. I've posted this TikTok. I posted this thing with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders practice footage. I've done all this. So now the last card I have to play in my hand is this trade request. So here it is. Will you come to the table now? Kenny Caraway, it's time for the handoff. We're talking about Brandon Aiyuk, FYI.
What is there to come to the table about from the 49ers? What is there to the only reason to come to the table is if you're going to sign the contract. I've told you since May, it's 26, 27 million. We're not going to 30. You can do your interview with the pivot or whatever the case may be. If you're not coming to sign this contract,
sure,
we don't have to talk about anything.
Sure, but
camp starts on the 23rd. If you're there, you'll get your money. If
sure.
you're not, you know the fines.
Sure, but I think if Brandon Aiyuk calls and says, okay, what about 28? Niners go, okay, yeah, we'll come up to 28. And they'll do that. But the fact that they haven't been willing to even talk since May, when you've got a guy who's like, hey, can we meet? Can we have a literal meeting to figure out, this is bothering me. Every other receiver's been paid. Market's set. We all know what it is. Can we hammer this out so this can be over? Because this is affecting me. And I'm going to keep bringing it up because this is the key point of all this. Scooter 916 in the chatty house said, like, look what happened with Bosa. Bosa started really slow after his holdout. Now, granted, his went into September. His went into literally, if you've forgotten, his was not signed until there's the end of preseason, then there's a week, and then the regular season week starts. That was the week that he signed his deal. So that, I don't think it's going to take that long. But again, Deebo Samuel had his holdout in 2021. Trade request, the whole thing. Niners had to fly to Miami to go talk to him. It was a mess. 2022 Deebo, pretty disappointing. That's the rub for me, where there's not, you just talk it out then.
I think I'm giving one side of it. I do think they need to talk it out or have a conversation. Your offer can stay the same and you can still have the conversation, but you could talk to the guy or whatever the case may be. When it comes to those guys like Deebo and Nick Bosa starting slow, they got to take some responsibility for that too. Like what were you doing? I'm sure you were working out, but like, what were you doing or whatever the case may be? I understand negotiating and all this other stuff. You could have came to camp. You could have been a hold in. You could have done all that. So
you could have risked injury.
You could have, but you not being ready and not performing is not the 49ers' fault. It's not.
No, I don't disagree.
And real quick, and if you're gonna do all that, you better be ready to play. Like if you're going, I'm a holdout, I'm not doing all this. I don't like right now with Brandon Aiyuk. If he holds out and all this other stuff, I don't want to hear about the negotiations made me have a slow start. No, bro, you did all this. You held out. That's part of the risk of holding out is you may not play well.
Do you guys think he's being unreasonable?
Yes.
I don't think so because we talk about like these players getting paid what the market dictates. The market is higher now. I'm not saying he's got to get 35 million, but the market probably says now if everyone getting paid, yes, I would pay Brandon like 30 million if I had it or whatever.
Yeah, I ain't got it though. Number one. And number two, the market probably said, like, I don't know if you guys talked about that top 10 list from the GMs and everything. He's 10. He's 10.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think he's in that like 7 to 10 range, depending on where you're looking.
That's what we talk about all the time, like pay these players what the market dictates.
That's not 30. The market, right. Yeah, the market ain't 30 for him. The market is like 26 to 28.
I think I agree.
And that's what he's being offered.
I'd go 28 to 30.
30 ain't he not because
that's what guys need to start getting paid now.
Judged by what the market is, he's not 30.
Like CD's gonna get 33 or whatever around there. Jamar Chase still gonna get paid. Brandon Aiyuk can come in after that. He's a top 10 receiver.
Yeah, I think that's why I think he's in the $28 million range.
Yeah.
Here, let me look. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, what was that? Because they had a couple of guys on there.
Because if it's me, like call it with like Jalen Waddle's my guy or whatever, but I'm Brandon Aiyuk. Yeah, you paid a number 2 receiver on that team like that. I'm the number 1 here.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that, but
like he's doing nothing different than what I mean,
Okay.
what we've asked all these players to do.
Average annual value. Justin Jefferson, 35. He's not getting that, right?
No.
Nope.
AJ
That's where
Brown.
we start.
AJ Brown at 32.
You're not getting that.
Not getting that. AJ Brown, much longer track record. Amon-Ra St. Brown, his average annual value is 30,
Mhm.
but when you get into that contract, it's closer to like 27.
And that's what frustrates me about the 49ers. Just doctor the
Put the funny money in.
Yeah,
Play the
doctor
game
it
a
up
bit or
and make this
something.
guy
Yeah.
like feel good. Like, doctor, that's where I get upset with the 49ers. You can do that.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown's at 30, quote unquote. Tyreek Hill at 30, quote unquote. Jalen Waddle, 28,250,000. Devontae Adams, 28. You get Devontae Adams money? You get $28 million?
And he's not better than Devontae.
Devontae's
Cooper Kupp,
probably due for new
26.7.
money too, though.
You get him in that $28 million. I think that's a sweet spot. It's just, is it a quote unquote overpay? Maybe a little. But that's an overpay for your new franchise quarterback who the Niners believe, whether you do or not, is not relevant right now. The 49ers believe deeply that Brock Purdy is their guy. So you have his favorite target here up for contract, and right before you give him $60 million plus a year, you're going to tell his top target, like, see ya. We got Ricky Pearsall.
Hey,
That's tough.
I understand, but like this is the other part of the Brandon Aiyuk situation that I don't understand is they're not disrespecting you. Like, it'd be one thing if they was offering you $17 million, bro. They're offering you 26.
Not negotiating since May is a little disrespectful.
Yeah, but I think
fair.
they're saying what Kenny is, and apparently they've told him like he's not a number one receiver. They don't view him that way. Like all this, like of course they're going to say that. That's what negotiations are. It gets uncomfortable. But I don't know why with the market already set. I don't know why you're not just alleviating some of this pressure on your player and being like, all right, we know we're coming up from this number. Let's get on. It's July 18th. We're not saving any coin here by waiting 2 weeks to do this. Just get him in here and get it done.
Did you see the Pivot interview?
Some of it.
I've talked about it a lot because people were talking to me about it when it happened. I didn't watch it, and yeah, I didn't. I was like, all right, I'll check it out, and it was a little eye opening, so to speak, and it made me. If I felt that way, the first time I really like heard Brandon Aiyuk speak, it made me wonder: has he always been like this? Like, do they deal with this all the time with him? And is this why they're kind of like taking a hard stance with him? Because it was, for those who hadn't seen it, it was just like, yo, he's not I don't think he's a bad guy. He did come off a little self-centered.
Well, in this situation, he should be.
I'm sure 75% of the NFL players are like that.
Yeah,
that's fine. But that doesn't.
It's what we just talked about with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson not taking. Because I made the joke, because Jalen Brunson took $113 million less that he could get next year, whatever it was, and I made the joke like, "Why isn't De'Aaron doing that?" And Jesse was like, "No, get your money." I'm with you, like 1,000%. That was a joke, by the way, on the De'Aaron part. That was 100% joke. De'Aaron should be waiting to get his maximum amount of dollars possible, 100%.
Right.
I think that's what Brandon Aiyuk's about right now. Is hey, they're offering me 26. I think I'm worth 30.
For me, the number should start at 28 with him.
No, it should start at 26. But this is what
you're undervaluing him at that point, though.
But this is what I say, and I said this the other day. You can go get your money. You may not be able to get it here, but go get your $30 million and go to New England. Have them give us a first-round pick and a starting offensive lineman,
or Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, and you can get your $30 million, and we'll see what numbers you do. We'll see what happens on that next contract.
Do you think so?
Get your $30 million. Like
contract.
He's cutting his nose to spite his face. Like, you take your 26 here, you keep putting up these crazy numbers.
It doesn't work like that, though. It doesn't work like that, though. That's all hypothetical. He can get hurt, blow his knee out, and then he's done. Or it doesn't work like that.
Like I said, if I was advising, I'm like, all right, if you want $30 million, go to New England, play with Luke. What's his name? Drake May. Play with him. And we'll see what happens in 3 years when you're up for another contract.
I believe in Brandon Aiyuk more. I think he's a legit receiver.
I do too.
He might be, but they stink. The Patriots stink.
You still get paid though if you put up numbers.
The other thing, real quick, because we got to go. I think the other thing for the Niners at this point is now that he's requested a trade, they can't set that precedent that trade request equals contract. So now they have to like wait this out and be like, all right, well now we got to wait a couple more weeks. I think that's
How much is
kind of
Debo getting right now annually?
23 something. Okay. Yeah. Not 26.
Sign the contract, Brandon. Sign the contract.
Get it to 28.
Vibing today.
Vibing today.
Love it. Can't wait. D'Lo and KC coming up next. That's Jesse Tapia. I'm Kyle Madsen. We will be back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the Producers. 10 a.m. on the Producers. Spinoff show of the Insiders is sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320, Sacramento sports leader. Until 10 a.m. tomorrow, drink water and be nice to people. Boop.